Welcome back to The Short Coat, coming to you from the amazing and intense world of med school at the University of Iowa Carver College of Medicine. I'm Dave Etler, and it is a time of transition here at CCOM. My second-year friends have gone off with the third and fourth years or doing who knows what in hospitals and clinics, while first years have finally wrapped up their gross anatomy and they're categorically relieved to have made it through their first semester of med school largely intact.
Largely intact.
Can I have a hell yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No matter where you land in the curriculum, one thing is true. Medical school takes up a lot of time, a lot of mental space. It also happens to be here in the northern hemisphere, the armpit of winter. Today it's like minus 43 degrees of wind chill. That special season when many of us sort of retreat indoors under blankets. But try to continue to create, move, and connect in whatever ways that we still can. So today, we've got a group of medical students to talk about what life looks like outside these hallowed halls of learning. And stick around, as we've got a listener question from military spouse Nicole about her plans for med school. To help me with all of that, I'm joined by my med student co-hosts, a bunch of M1s like Reese Rosenmeyer.
Hello.
We've got Arielle Weber.
Hello.
We've got Reed Adajaar.
Hi.
And we've got Ben Cooper.
Hello.
So we wanted to, what we're really talking about is hobbies, things that you do that have nothing to do with medicine. Or maybe they do have something tangential to do with medicine. I don't know. Do you want to, let's go around and share your hobbies that you claim to do.
Okay, well, I feel like this hobby we all do together, which is why I brought it up. And we've got a little picture. So we are big intramural stands, huge. And this fall we played sand volleyball, regular volleyball. We're currently signed up for basketball. And then we're going to do volleyball again in like March. So we're loving the intramurals. It's been so fun. That was in the fall, like September, when it was so nice out.
Yeah.
So we've had to transition indoors.
Did you start doing that when you came here, or did you all have a love of volleyball before that?
Well, Belle has played volleyball a lot before and is really good. I played volleyball in high school, and then I did intramurals here for undergrad a lot. So then I was like, okay, guys, let's keep the momentum going. Let's do some intramurals. And then Ben is actually kind of good. And the first time we were playing volleyball.
Sorry, Reed.
Reed, you're really good too.
So you guys also volleyball, just Reed isn't very good at it.
Well, it's actually really fun. It's a funny joke because I actually played D1 volleyball, and I played on like quite a few international teams. So,
Okay. I don't know if that...
I never had played volleyball ever before. I was so bad. Like I was so bad that it was almost frustrating because they would never like pass the ball to me. You know?
I have traumatic associations with volleyball from high school gym.
I mean I do too from last fall.
But I actually thought Ben had played volleyball before because he was kind of really good. And I was like, Ben, I didn't say that. No. But I was like, Ben, have you played volleyball before? And he's like, no, I haven't. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're lying. Like you're actually lying about this.
Ben, are you generally good at sports?
On occasion.
On occasion?
Yeah. I wouldn't toot my own horn, but I'd say I'm...
Toot your own horn?
I'll toot his horn.
All right, okay.
I think Ben is just like a very athletic guy.
Okay.
You know, he played football. What else did you play?
Basketball.
So I like very hand-eye coordinated.
Multiple sports.
Yeah. I also thought he played volleyball.
Okay.
So.
Wow. Okay.
Appreciate that one, Reed.
Oh. I can't wait to zoom in on that.
I was just about to say, please don't do that.
Totally doing that. What other hobbies we got?
Well, I don't want to talk the whole time, but I love reading. I was very much up on my reading over Christmas break.
What do you read?
And well, I read the book When Breath Becomes Air, which is about medicine, but it's also about like the humanity side of it. So that was really interesting. And we're trying to keep the reading momentum going through the semester. That's my goal. So
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I have also had that goal this semester. I read over Christmas break. I am more of a fiction girl because I like to read about things that don't necessarily pertain to anything in
What kind of fiction?
serious.
I'm a big sci-fi buff myself.
Okay, I love sci-fi. Like any sort of mystery or like something where it keeps the pages flipping.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely hard to keep reading when we read on our iPads or laptops all day, but I'm going to try to set that
100%.
goal. Yeah.
So,
I think that's her. I'm with Belle though. I also do like the fiction, which I feel like over Christmas break I could read the nonfiction because I was like, we're not in class. But then during school, it's like you just want to kind of do something and take your mind off of it. But I have a Kindle Unlimited account, which is great for the bank account. But yeah, then you're reading like on a screen the whole time, so that's not ideal. But you know,
I tried that and I couldn't achieve a threshold of enough reading that it was worth it. So
that's fair.
Reed and I also play pickleball. I guess everyone does too. But
is he shit at that
Reed
too?
is
He's
really
too
good
good
at pickleball.
He's too good.
Yeah, it almost makes up for his volleyball. No, I'm just kidding.
Almost.
It's true. I'm gonna toot Reed and Belle's horn. They won the Carver pickleball tournament this fall.
Oh,
Yeah, so they're
I
not
didn't
amateurs.
even know you guys had it.
They were in the advanced bracket too.
That was the strokes for
Ground strokes for strokes.
Oh, right. I
Yes.
did know. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Oh, cool.
Me and Reed had matching shirts too. It was iconic.
They showed no mercy.
All of this is true.
A lot of sports.
I think
sports.
being inside all day when you're like a medical student or even undergrad, I think it's easy to have a hobby where you spend a lot of time outside. So sports obviously are some of those things. For me,
you guys were already doing these things before med school, which is great
nice.
that you're finding room to continue to do that.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we sort of as a industry get concerned over is, when people just come in and they do medical education only, and sort of give up the things that make them, I don't know, interesting, human.
Yeah.
Do you ever have to sort of prioritize things like it sounds like you guys were trying to make arrangements before we started the show and Ben was like, absolutely not.
No, go ahead, Reed.
He's gonna play. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
So for listeners, we play a game called Wallyball,
which is the actual pronunciation.
It is.
I thought it was a joke when I heard it at first, but it's Wallyball.
yeah.
But
so,
we kind of play with our own rules.
yeah, we came up with our own rules for context.
Okay.
You-
This is fun.
you're in a racquetball court we play at Fieldhouse, which is one of the recs here at the university. And you're in a racquetball court, and essentially you just hang up a volleyball net. And instead of having, normal outs, you can play volleyballs off of the wall. And actually, I heard about it from my dad, who played it here when he was a med student. And I was like, there's just no way they still have it. That was, I think, 600 years ago. So, but we went up
Graduated
to the front desk.
in 91.
Yep.
Yeah.
Went to the front desk, and they had nets, and we've been playing it as much as we can ever since.
What are the made up rules?
Well, to my understanding, in actual volleyball, you can like hit it off of wherever on the walls, but we made a rule that has to be like below a certain line because we didn't want it to ruin our intramural volleyball game then when we went to intramurals.
I see.
So it's kind of been a way we're like, okay, it's kind of volleyball-esque, but like we can play it in the racquetball courts, which are normally open. So that's the nice part.
I was hoping that it was something involving we don't use a volleyball, we use a bowling ball.
That might be kind of painful.
Well, it increases the stakes a little bit, which I think is always entertaining.
True.
Look.
True.
You guys do you. It's fine. But yes, like sometimes I imagine you have to be like, I can't do that hobby. I can't do that thing that I wanted to do because I have to do this other thing we call med school. Does that suck real hard, or you just find ways to figure it out?
It does. It does. So tonight we have a class from like 1 to 3, And then we have an exam moved, which is unfortunate. It moved from Friday to Monday.
Because of the million degrees
because of the nasty weather
yes.
today.
Yes.
Negative
yes.
a million.
And so now I have more time to study, and I didn't study really yesterday, so I'm going to have to study tonight. And just one of those things that...
Did you not study yesterday because you knew the test? Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as the test was moved,
You're like, oh.
it's like, I'll take today off, and I'll study tomorrow and Saturday, Sunday.
But you were already practically there.
That's
You
right.
could take the weekend off. I'm the little
Peer
devil
pressure.
on your shoulder.
No,
You
that's
could take the
good.
weekend
Keep
off.
telling him that. We want to play volleyball.
How much more could it help you? What's the test?
It's neuroanatomy. So it's probably...
It's our first one of the
Damn it.
semester.
So like we might need some help.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning of the semester it was definitely easier for me to like forego doing the hobbies because I just was so concerned about the tests. But I think especially as we got more into routine, had all of our small groups, we kind of got into our fixed schedule. I think we were much better about getting together and actually going to do stuff because we each had a better estimate of how much time we needed to study for a test.
Yeah.
And so I remember especially at the end of last semester, we had our last anatomy test, our last mod test, but we didn't have all the small groups. And so we were actually playing volleyball like every day or every other day, which was really funny because it was like the final tests coming up, but we were still making time for that. So
Yeah, it was like finals, but we were playing like volleyball more than ever, I feel like.
yeah.
Well, part of having a hobby is keeping yourself sane amid all of the other things that you sort of have to do in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for me, like towards the middle of the semester, I was like, I need to take a break from studying because it was like studying so much. So then we were like, okay, like this was the perfect break. And then you move your body a little bit, you hang out with your friends, you get to take a break. It's kind of like the perfect like side quest kind of.
I think also there's a distinction to be made between social hobbies, like what you guys are doing, and then sort of solitary hobbies, which are just as important, I think, for many people. But I don't know, like I'm a social guy. I kind of like to do things with people, so I get that.
I feel like any sort of like physical activity, like working out, is like the best social hobby. Like even my sister's an undergrad here, so we'll like go on walks together, and that's like our time to like catch up. But we're also like, on a walk, being active. So I feel like for me, that's my favorite like way to hang out with other people. And you kind of, this sounds bad, but you kind of kill two birds with one stone.
No,
so
yeah.
just super productive, and you have much more fun when you're with other people. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also good that I think we've all become really good friends with each other in med school too, and like we're all going through the same thing. So it's not like sometimes when I hang out with friends that are not in med school, that sometimes I feel like, everyone else is studying, I should be studying, but like hanging out with people in med school, it's just like great camaraderie of we all like know that we have to take a break sometimes too, and we're all going through it together,
100%. I feel the same way, Belle, because it's like, okay, my friends are taking a break. Like I can take a break too. Not that has to be like what has to happen, but it does make it easier for you to go ahead and like take a break and not study when you're like, okay, all of my friends, they're doing the same classes, the same things. Like not like they said it's okay, so it is, but kind of.
Yeah. It's easier to sort of set it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, much easier because sometimes we'll study in the library together, and then it's like, are we playing volleyball tonight? So, then we go play volleyball. I think especially because I feel like I'm studying much more now, obviously, than I was in undergrad. And so therefore, when I get a chance to take a break, like I do lift, like that's the thing I generally do alone. But when I'm done looking at my computer, the only thing I want to do is like talk to people and do a hobby or like do a sport or just get active. And so I think that's why now I generally lean towards more people-oriented hobbies. It's just nice to talk
just
to
more
someone.
fun.
Yeah. Sometimes after the library, like cooped up all day, I'm just like way too energetic talking to people, and they're like, "You need to take a chill pill." But
do you do any? Do you? Yeah, you mentioned lifting. I guess that's a hobby. Is that a hobby?
yeah,
Do we classify
yeah.
that, or do we classify that as? Yeah, it's a hobby.
I think don't Google it right now and post it on the screen to correct me. But I feel like for me, a hobby is something I do that I enjoy that I would seek out doing versus like a chore is something that I have to do that I might put off.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Are there other hobbies that you guys do that aren't sports? Do you make anything?
I do love to cook, which was a struggle first semester for a while, just because it does take a lot of time, like all the meal prep and stuff. But
You're a big meal prepper, like cooking on a Sunday for the whole week?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a necessity. But I feel like I've done a better job thus far, and like I'm on a better track to do better this semester. And like over break, I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't like made cookies from scratch in so long, it felt like. And I used to do that kind of a lot. I have a little bit of a sweet tooth, or a lot of bit of a sweet tooth. So that was so fun. And I'm like, okay, well, I think I could like incorporate this more. Maybe probably shouldn't eat that much sugar, but
Yeah,
I
you
could
cook for your friends and then.
Yeah, exactly. Then you just, you know, eat a little bit.
Cook for your friends. I mean, I'm sure Ben and I would love if you brought us like cookies every day.
I wouldn't
I'm
mind
sure
it.
you guys
could cook
would.
for your friends.
So there you go. I feel like that's something I can like definitely do more of this semester. And I feel like first semester for me at least was a lot of like figuring out, like Reed was saying, routine and like what study strategies and how to study. And I feel maybe not the most prepared, but I do feel more prepared this semester, and I know what I'm getting into and I know what the time commitment looks like. So I feel like it's going to be easier, and it has been thus far, to like do those sorts of things and incorporate hobbies in. So
Yeah, I feel like that first semester is rough, but if you sort of intentionally set aside time, maybe that would help during that first semester. You know, set aside time where you're like, okay, this is protected time where I'm going to do volleyball, or I'm going to cook, or I'm going to, you know, make a model of a ship inside a bottle.
For me, something that helps is sorry, Reed,
How
you're
did
gonna
you
say
know?
something. Like actually putting it in my calendar, like even with like my school stuff, like I'll put volleyball like in my calendar if we schedule it ahead of time or something, like so that it's on my schedule. If it's on my schedule, I know like myself that I'm gonna do it. But if it's like, oh, something I have to squeeze in that's not on my schedule, then it's like I'm less likely to say, oh, I should do that instead of study. So like, I don't know, recommend putting it on your calendar, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like being intentional about it and just making it a part of your routine rather than something that you do if you have time. Because I know that if I try to do stuff like that, I never have time.
Yeah. With intramurals, I like that too, because it's like, one, you pay for them, so if
you're going to show up. Yeah.
And if you have a dedicated time every single week that you know you'll get this break off, at least for me, it makes me more motivated to get my work done before then. So I think it works both ways. You get a little break, but you work harder for that break.
100%. That's what the other thing I loved about intramurals was like, okay, like Belle said, you're going to put it in your schedule and you're going to show up and you're going to do it. And it was like a non-negotiable, and like you have, you know, 5 other people who are counting on you showing up so that they can play too, which honestly for me was like, okay, like I'm going to this, no questions asked. And then it's like I had so much fun. The sand volleyball, I feel like we just laughed the whole time as some of us were developing our skills. So it was a good time.
Reed.
Everyone turned. They're like, "Yeah, it was Reed. It was me. It was me."
He's gotten a lot better. Yeah,
Most improved.
For sure.
Most improved
100%.
award.
Most improved.
Amazing. Well done.
Tallest.
Yeah.
I was, I think, 8 inches shorter than one of our players. That's one of my excuses.
Wait, how tall for the listeners? How tall are you?
5'11".
Yeah.
I stand 5'10", about until 3 hours after I wake up, and then I shrink to 5'9".
Okay.
We have measured this. There are markings on my wall. I did do those when I was 22.
Okay.
Had to make sure.
Okay.
I'm actually going to put a plug in.
5'10's fine. 5'10's fine. I think I'm 5'10.
5'10 is way above average.
Yeah.
I think average is like 5'10. Either 5'9", 5'10". One of the things that I was thinking about is decision fatigue, especially at the end of last semester. And it was like, I think during school, we have a very regimented schedule. Have to do this, test here, group here. And so for me, when I get out of school, I don't want anything on my calendar. That is me. I know that's very unpopular. sometimes put some tension in the group because it'll be like 7 p.m. and I'll be like, you want to play volleyball at 7:15? Like, let's leave right now.
Not popular with Arielle, I think.
But I feel like that's just how I like to enjoy my time because I just want to have like free time.
Yeah.
Versus during school, it's lectures at these time. I have to be in lab at this time. And so
you're more of a spontaneous,
you could say.
doer of.
We still listen to him, just to clarify. We still come at 7:15.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice.
I have a minor freak out beforehand, but I still show up. Because I also am a type A planner like Belle, so I like it in my calendar, but we still show up.
All right. I'm going to take a break here. We'll be back in just a second, but pop quiz, Ben.
Yep, I'm ready for it.
What day and time does the Shortcoat Podcast normally release a new episode?
Ooh, great question. Thursdays?
Mm-hmm.
Noon.
No.
1,
No.
11 a.m.,
No.
10.
Anybody else want to guess?
8 a.m.
4 a.m.
Whoa. Ooh.
I get up at 4 a.m. No, I do not.
Is it a scheduled posting?
It is a scheduled post. The answer is still Thursdays, but now we have a new time, 9 a.m. I just wanted to put that out there because it's a bit of a change. I don't want our diehard listener to freak out. The new time helps me align our release time with Spotify's annoying requirements for video episodes. And I hope that's okay. I'm never up before 7 a.m. If I have anything to say about it. But if the change bothers someone out there in listener land, let me know. Or just lower your expectations of me. That would be awesome. Thanks. So a little bit, how did your relationship with hobbies change once med school started?
I think kind of two ways. One, you had less time, obviously, for hobbies. And so that kind of made doing things on my own harder. And so kind of we talked about social hobbies a lot, but making sure that I'm still taking time, because a lot of my like alone time will be spent studying. And these guys will go to the library and I'll go. We have it's kind of a.
He's always invited.
Yeah, you don't go to the library. You're a solo studier.
I have to study by myself.
Yeah.
Or otherwise I don't feel productive. And so I will go downstairs into the rooms we take our some of our like remote tests in.
Sure.
It's a little cubicle. I'll shut myself in and sit there and study. But anyways, I felt like my only time alone by myself was studying. And so I had to make a distinct effort to still doing the hobbies I like to do on my own. Reading is one of my big hobbies.
What do you read?
It depends. I'm not one of the people that has to like finish a book once I start it. So right now I'm reading like 3 or 4 different books.
You're one of those.
It's whatever mood I am. I read
Okay.
at night. So before I go to bed, I put my phone like kind of away from where like my bed is. That way I have to get up to turn off my alarm.
Yeah.
You make that mistake once
Top
or twice
tip, yeah.
in undergrad and you learn. So right now I'm reading a lot of Agatha Christie, a lot of mystery.
Oh, cool.
I have another book called, I think, When Death Turns Into Life, and it's about transplant surgery. And that one's interesting. And then there's one called Gray Matters, which is a book, like a biography on the brain.
A biography of the brain.
Yeah, brain medicine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Yeah, anybody else had to sort of change their relationship with hobbies?
I guess I did take up one hobby. I go to hot yoga now, which like Ben was saying, I do need like my alone recharge time too, which I value just as much as I value my social like recharge time. And so hot yoga has been great because you're silent the whole time and you're just like not in your head. You're kind of out of your head. You're just focusing on like the class at hand, and that's been really great. And I've been loving that. So that's been my like alone recharge, no talking time.
In undergrad, unlike Reese, I really didn't have a hobby of like cooking or anything, but I've like learned that it helps me eat healthy. So I have taken up cooking a little bit more this past semester. And so I've been experimenting with different things. So that's kind of alone time. I usually play music. And
You waiting to tell a story about yoga?
Yeah, I could. I'll do it after.
I was also waiting for this.
Do you have a story?
I do have a story about Ben's yoga. One thing I will say though, Oh, did I say Ben's yoga? I meant Ben's yoga.
Oh.
I found that I actually do way more activities now in medical school than I did in undergrad. And I think the reason is we have so many people who are all working towards the same goal, who are on the same schedule. It's really easy to find people to do those hobbies with. So, we all play in sand volleyball, indoor volleyball. In undergrad, I found that I primarily studied alone, and I didn't really interact with my classmates that much because most of the class is more like all remote, so I didn't have to go to class. And in the classes that I did have, it was all people, different majors, and it was great, but schedules always conflicted and things like
It's a
that.
very different experience, I think, the undergrad experience. You're,
Yeah.
even if even in a tight group of friends, everybody's majoring in different things, and they're going to different buildings, and they're being in different places. And
So, like, I pretty much only did, I think, intramural pickleball one time in undergrad. That was like the only intramural thing I really did. But now I've done like 2 different intramurals. We're going to do 3 this spring. And so I think it just shows that like in medical school, there definitely is time, but I'm like more involved than ever I was before. I don't know. I think in undergrad, like I really just like put my head down. I didn't like have a group of academic friends that I hung out with regularly. Like I had some, like high school buddies that we'd like get together every now and then, but I mean, we see each other like almost every day. And so I think it's really easy to be like, oh, what are you doing later? Let's go play or do something like that. Yeah. Ben's yoga. So we're sitting in CBL. Ben and I have
CBL
case-based learning together.
Great.
Which is, everyone has it, but we're put in these groups of 5, 6.
Yeah.
I'm sure your guys' group isn't as good as mine and Belle's last semester because we were in the same CBL. So just want to put that out there.
It's probably not as good. It's probably better, but,
wow.
Subjective.
I've heard people compete over which CBO is better.
Well, I mean, we have a great
us.
time. But anyways, so case-based learning, we all go through, each group goes through a clinical case together, and it's like given to you in bits, and so you kind of problem solve the way through it. Anyways, that's not important. What's important was Ben was running the computer because the keyboard was sitting right next to him when he sat down. And so he looked at me and I was like, Ben, obviously it's your job to do the computer. And he's like, okay. So it projects to a screen that everyone can see. Oh, no. And he has to open his email to access a file that we're all sharing and looking at. And Ben goes, all right, nobody look at my email. So everyone turns and looks at the screen to look at his email. And the first thing that pops up is power yoga. Like an email scheduled invite to an event of power yoga.
What's power yoga?
What is power yoga, Ben?
That's a great question. So I got an invite from my girlfriend to do power yoga this Sunday, and I responded to her and I was like, what's power yoga? And she said, there's only one way to find out. And that's why it popped up to the top, because I had already accepted it. She just responded, there's only one way to find out. And so then for the next 15 minutes, we went on to talk about chiropractic medicine, and Reed, I think, brought up power yoga at least 10 more times.
So we still don't know exactly what power yoga
We'll find out. I
is.
have a feeling it's going to be like strength based.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm going to enjoy it, but it'll get a workout in.
All right.
What do you think it is?
Okay, well, where is it at? I've been meaning to ask you this.
CRWC.
I think you're going to like it.
What is it?
I'm assuming it's like a Pilates yoga with like weights. So I feel like you would like that versus vinyasa is more like traditional yoga.
Like the slow moving,
Like-
more relaxing.
There's so many words. This is like the skill barrier to this conversation. Like, what is Pilates? What is vinyasa?
Vinyasa is like a movement connected to your breath based yoga. So you're doing like sun salutations and that sort of thing.
Like the typical yoga.
Yes.
I'm more of a visual learner.
You know,
Could you?
I don't think there's enough space in here, unfortunately.
Oh, there is. No, I'll move the table.
Well, I think maybe Ben could demonstrate after his class on Sunday.
Yeah, funny story actually. Reese and I were in a yoga class while we were doing our fantasy football teams this fall.
Yes.
So we were like in the middle of poses. We were like, what do you want to pick next?
Yes.
And then we were like tapping it on the side.
And I'd just like to preface that our fantasy football team did beat Ben's,
Yes.
and we drafted exclusively at yoga. So
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We should talk a little bit more about what that means for Ben in the future.
that's a great point.
So there's something called Frolics at Carver, and I've actually spent more time than I'd like to admit writing a script for Frolics.
Nice.
And it's almost done. And so I'm gonna get it checked to make sure it's appropriate and won't get me in trouble.
Amazing. There was a time when Frolics was a little bit risky.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid. And
what is Frolics? What is Frolics? Like I'm still.
I think it's just like
skits, right?
Put on by. It's not.
Each class puts on a series of skits, and some they used to be super cringe, and now they're still super cringe, but less risky.
And they're gonna involve Ben.
Well,
all of them.
I won't spoil my idea. But essentially,
don't.
I'm gonna submit a video. I hope. And it's going to be, instead of like The Office, it's the Oski.
Okay.
And you'll just have to wait and see.
I love that. I love that idea. Brilliant.
It's not going to be a live performance?
No. Gosh. No.
That's disappointing.
Sorry to disappoint.
I mean,
you could always fill in with a little yoga demonstration.
You know, but thankfully the yoga saved my fantasy football team, mine and Belle's. So we were not the very bottom, the losers of the bracket like Ben and our dear friend Malia were. Yeah, it's tough out there. So that was their fantasy football punishment.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Thankfully, yoga saved me in this instance.
I have some interesting facts. I think they're interesting facts about hobbies in medicine. First one. Physicians who are forced to abandon hobbies, like during high-pressure residencies, experience a sharper decline in well-being than those who never participated in those hobbies at all. Fact number one.
It's worrisome.
Yeah,
I mean,
what do you predict for yourself for a specialty someday?
I don't know. There's a few things that I've ruled out. But I think the things that I've ruled out would probably be lower stress residencies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm worried that that's going to be an expectation is that since everybody else has given up their hobbies before you, you're expected to give up yours. And don't know if there's
oddly, I think that hobby. So when you fill out Eris, there's a space to put your hobbies. And Annette was telling me that they eliminated that space years ago, and the residencies were like, no, put it back. Or the residency programs were like, put it back. We want it back. And I think the reason is because when residency programs do their interviews with you guys, they're going to end up talking about probably anything other than your grades or your scores or whatever, because they already know that. They kind of want to get to know you. And so I think it's odd that some residencies you might be sort of forced to cut back on them when it can be such an important topic during your interviews, which I think gives you some room to say to your prospective residency programs, these are my hobbies. I really like to engage in them. Am I going to have time?
Right.
A pointed discussion about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. While many physicians turn to passive activities like watching television, listening to music, solitary video games, these activities are actually associated with higher levels of exhaustion and stress. So these are hobbies that are compensatory mechanisms, perhaps. They're used to numb the mind after a long day, rather than sort of refilling stations that proactively restore energy. So social interactive hobbies like team sports provide the lowest level of exhaustion. And, it's probably also related to moving your body and stuff like that too, I would imagine.
100%. Definitely get the blood flow going, all of that sort of stuff. Also, I sleep so much better on days when we've played volleyball or something. So that's a huge pro for me. I care a lot about my sleep, as the few people here know, because I talk about it a lot. And I'm I won't play.
How much sleep do you try to give yourself?
8.5 hours, which I don't think is too crazy, but I will be okay, I'm not playing volleyball later than this time because I want to go to bed and get my sleep in. But I sleep so much better after working out or playing volleyball or anything like that. So I think that's so true.
Musical training, specifically piano or stringed instruments, has been correlated with neurological adaptations, such as increased depth in the brain's central sulcus. I don't know what that means. It's a piece of your brain. I know that.
We did talk about this.
We did.
It was brought up in our lecture.
Did you?
Yes.
What was said?
Basically, from my understanding, like your brain can actually get bigger from doing like motor, like fine piano movements. We were looking at Einstein's brain, right? And so your motor cortex can actually like get larger in the areas where your controls your hand movements if you have experience doing that.
Musical novices. Let's see. The symmetrical development of the motor cortex allows musical novices to outperform their peers in surgical tasks, showing better suture quality and better laparoscopic skills. So that's kind of cool.
I'd be interested to see how video games is going to play a role with the advancements of like laparoscopic surgery as well.
Yeah.
Because I feel like video games might.
It's a pretty,
correlate.
feels like a pretty close match to the kind of things that, I mean, I don't know. Like I think a lot of surgery robots, you know, you're sort of manipulating things with your hands, like you would in video games and things like you're probably looking through a screen. Feels analogous to me. Yeah.
Right.
Engagement with the arts and humanities has a measurable impact on professional metrics. So a longitudinal study found that performance in medical humanities curricula explained nearly 30% of the variance in clinical internship grades. And physicians who received painting tuition were rated by their patients as having significantly better communication skills, particularly in sensitive tasks like delivering bad news. So, and you know what's weird is I periodically, especially in the writing and humanities program where we're sitting right now, we sometimes hear from students like, I don't care about that stuff. I'm here to study medicine. I don't care about, you know, the arts. I don't care about the humanities. And that's fine. You know, we're not for everybody. But I don't know, knowing that, I feel like knowing that, you know, participating in these sort of activities helps you do better in your other activities. I don't know. Seems like a no-brainer to me if you're interested in that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
I think it's also funny. I unfortunately am not the best artist, but I feel like I end up drawing out like vascular systems and a lot for anatomy all the time. So I definitely see how you would, A, it's a bucket filler, so you're going to feel better. And then B, it kind of is beneficial to your learning too in some way. So there's a lot of really cool artwork kind of in the skywalk that connects over to the Papa John Discovery Building.
Yeah.
And some of those are really
student artwork in the hallways.
Yes, yeah. Some of those are really cool. And we were talking, we had, you know, gross anatomy lab, and we were looking at the cerebellum, and everyone's like, oh, that's so pretty. And I know there's been a few like paintings of the cerebellum up in the hallway, and those, they really are so pretty, and a lot of talent goes into that.
Maybe you should display something for the art show that's coming up.
You know, I'm probably not going to win, but I guess I could display
winning.
something.
There's no judging. We're not judging. We're just hanging stuff up.
That's true.
You could even be anonymous.
That would be the way to go, I think, for me. Like I said, not the best artistically, but I could always give it a good go.
You're a dabbler, you think?
I think I could
classify
be.
you as a dabbler?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm more of like a patron of the arts person. Like,
okay.
I like to go, I love going to musicals and like plays and stuff like that. So definitely enjoy being a spectator for those things.
All right.
I'd have to agree. I love doodling. Reese sees me, and we sit by each other in lecture, and I'm always drawing little pictures that sometimes relate to lecture, and sometimes they're just a way for me to remember it.
But also, though, Belle's notes are really pretty. Like, they look so good, and I think Belle should definitely enter.
Explain.
Like,
what do pretty notes look like?
They're just so symmetrical and organized, and like when she draws out something, I'm like, wow, that just looks so like clean, and I can understand what the picture is showing. So easy to follow.
Oh,
all the things.
Ben and I will also send our notes, so we can do like a side by side.
That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, you
it's-
should definitely do a side by side.
I think that comparison is really gonna.
Who do you think has the ugliest notes?
Me, by far.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree.
Are you just one of those all over the place people?
I'm not all over the place. Just my handwriting is illegible.
Okay.
I don't know.
I've never seen Reed take notes. I don't know.
I can't read it. I genuinely can't read his at all. So maybe read.
Well, the thing is, I write in cursive.
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yeah, yeah. Not because it's like a flex, but I do it so people can't read my notes because I don't want them to know what I'm putting down is wrong. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes I like write things from memory, and then I don't want people to look over and be like, "Wow, that's not right." Like, what is that? So it also is problematic because I can't read my notes either.
Yeah.
And so like I write something. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why I do it.
It's all right, man.
So people don't want to be looking at my notes. They're pretty much wrong all the time. So
do you find that writing notes is better than typing out notes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Why is that? I feel the same way.
I think
But in my life, I end up typing out notes. But I don't
Yeah.
have to remember things like you do.
I think, at least for me, I switched from iPad with like the PowerPoint on it to writing in like a line notebook.
Yeah.
One, because I think it helps with like muscle memory, but two, when I don't have the notes right in front of me, I have to summarize, and so when I'm summarizing, I think it's helping me learn more.
Sure.
Um,
You're repeating.
Yeah.
Back to yourself.
right.
What you've learned.
And I probably should reread my notes, but I don't. I reread them before I do like Anki and stuff like that. But I think it's just a way to help you like build those connections and learn faster.
I think the way that I use writing when I'm taking notes or studying is I primarily use Anki, so I usually don't take any like lecture notes. I pretty much only use my writing notes as like a brain map. So as I'm going through the Anki, I will like write down things I think are important and like draw arrows. And so I think that's part of why I can't read it, because when I go back to it, it's like a hodgepodge of information. Where I know some other people like use very like sequential notes that are well organized, but I kind of like it just because anything that I don't really understand, I can take space and dedicate to trying to figure out that one thing. And then if I need to connect it to something else, it's like physically there, versus I think Anki, the one thing I don't like is you might be studying one topic and then you move to something else that's related, but they're not connected to each other in like the card deck. And so I want to like flip back and forth. And so sometimes I can just draw that in.
It's called interleaving.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. The act of moving from one knowledge domain to another, or to a similar one, but not the same, enhances your memorization and your understanding. There you go.
I'm a natural. What can I say?
You're doing it already. Look at that. Do you anticipate, for the last part of this, do you anticipate or worry about the clinical phase and how that will sort of affect your participation in these hobbies that you do? Or are you just like, that's a problem for future me?
I think it'll vary based on like the rotation we're doing. Obviously, some rotations you're going to be spending a lot more time in the hospital than others. I think 2 days ago, I walked by some M2s and I asked them like how they're doing, and one of them told me she's doing great. She's on psych. They sent her home at 10 yesterday. Told her to have like a study day for the rest of the day, and then the other one was like, I was at the VA for 13 hours.
Yeah.
So it'll vary, I think.
I think maybe the struggle for you guys as social hobbyers is that you're all going to be on different, I would assume you're all going to be a lot of the time on different rotations and different schedules.
Yeah.
So that'll mess with it.
Yeah, I've definitely thought of that because like we were saying earlier, it is crazy. We do see each other like basically every day for honestly most of the day, if not all day. So it will be really weird when it's like we all go off on clinical to our different rotations and everything. So yeah, I think that'll definitely be interesting, and obviously we'll have to work around schedules a lot more. So it'll be interesting when it comes time for that.
Yeah. Well, we've got a listener question from Nicole. She's a sort of a non-traditional future medical student applicant. Let's hear from Nicole.
I listen to your podcast every morning while I'm dropping my kids off at preschool, and I really appreciate how honest and relatable your episodes are. I've connected with so many of your discussions, but I haven't yet heard one that speaks directly to my situation. So I wanted to reach out and share my story. I'm a first-generation college student and aspiring doctor. I've spent the last 10 years working as a surgical first assist in general surgery, and I'm also a military spouse. My husband is active duty Air Force. We have 3 small kids, and I'm currently finishing my bachelor's degree online. The medical schools I've looked into accept my degree plan, but I know that being a non-traditional online student means I'll have to work extra hard to be a competitive applicant. Unlike many non-traditional applicants, I do have good relationships and many recommendations from surgeons and other providers, but none have been in my specific situation. I can't imagine I'm the only one trying to balance family, military life, and pre-med studies, and I'd love to hear if there are other listeners in similar situations. How did they navigate the process? And what advice would they give someone like me? My husband will retire in about 6 years, and I'll have my prerequisites done by the end of next year. Am I crazy for pursuing my lifelong goal of becoming an MD at 35? I'm not interested in nursing or PA school. I've always felt called to MD and have enjoyed being part of a trusted team and would really like to have more accountability and a broader scope of practice. Thanks for being part of my mornings and for the encouragement you bring to all of us on this journey.
You're so welcome. Wow. That's a lot. Well, first of all, let's dispense with a common thing that I hear, or the common question that I have. 35 is not too late to go to med school at all. You guys know any older students this year?
We have 3 or 4 that would be considered older than the typical whatever average is.
We had a couple of years. We had some years ago, early 2000s, who were much older than your typical med student. And they all kind of banded together to get it done. They all had families. They all had, kids. No military, as I recall, but or one of them was, So, not at all uncommon or undoable, and they're all out there kicking ass these days. So, med schools regularly admit students in their 30s or 40s. Age isn't the issue. I think the issue would be readiness and academic performance and clarity of motivation. Those kinds of things are kind of important to talk about. Decade as a surgical first assist. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
That's more experience than I have. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's probably more experience than all of us have combined. So
100%. You're right. Yeah. 100%.
So, yeah. Amazing. And I think it provides you with a unique window into the question of why do you want to be an MD versus all of the other things that, the other things that you mentioned, like PA or nurse. I would say that that admissions committees everywhere will see your experience as proof that you understand.
100%.
From the inside.
Yeah, I think too, so much of this is like learning why, learning how, all of those kind of integrated things. And I think like someone in that sort of position probably, they're used to seeing this every day. And I'm sure those questions do pass their mind of like, I want to know more about this. I want to know how this works and that sort of thing. So I would think that you would probably have like more motivation than maybe even like the 4 of us, not to like put that into a basket, but in just like genuine curiosity and wanting to build that knowledge, and having that set of information would be more motivation to figure out, this set of information that we're learning now. Yeah. And so I think that's like honestly the biggest part. And I think like for me, I love the idea of like being a lifelong learner. And I think that's so important, especially in medicine. And it definitely seems like this individual feels that way too, like wants to be a lifelong learner and continue getting to know all of these things. So I think like med school would be perfect for them from the sounds of it.
I don't know. There's no like sort of hard and fast requirements for clinical experience and shadowing and things like that. And I don't want to put an additional burden on you as a military spouse, mother, full-time worker, it sounds like, and online school goer and all that kind of stuff. I do think that they might want to know that you've looked into other areas of medicine besides the one that you work in. So, keep that in mind. Do some shadowing and other stuff if you can fit it in. But I also think that maybe a lot of AdComs will give you a bit of a pass on some of that given your situation. Non-traditional applicants like yourself, I think they're often seen as lower risk once they're admitted. So I would say that schools spend some time thinking about, okay, well, what is the risk if we admit this student? Might they not finish? And applicants with real clinical experience, parenting responsibilities, long work histories are often viewed as more resilient and more likely to finish medical school as long as the academics are solid. You didn't share which school you're getting your degree in, but I hope it's a fully accredited program. It sounds like it is because you've reached out to medical schools and she said that they're cool with her degree plan. But it does need to be accredited. If it wasn't, we would pass. Although maybe DO schools would have different requirements. I don't know. I think the situation with the Air Force is the biggest issue. Obvious. It seems obvious to me. My research suggests that they won't guarantee any accommodation for your husband to relocate for your education because they're driven by service needs, as I'm sure you realize. Best case scenario, I don't know. What do you think the best case scenario is? Maybe that they get into a school near a base.
Yeah.
Because then you'll be able to get easy access to on-base childcare, which is going to be huge. But even so, I do expect that you and your husband will spend significant time apart. If you're not able to make that arrangement, you'll have to. Yeah, and even then, even when you're not, even if you didn't have to spend significant time apart, it seems like you might have to make sort of complicated arrangements for your young kids at times, when your husband has to work and when you have to be in the hospital at 5 a.m. and the kids might need to go to daycare or whatever. So I guess I would. I don't know if you have other family who might help. I would maybe try to look at schools that could be near them because you might rely on them more than you might otherwise would.
Yeah, there's definitely kids in our class or.
I think you're adults.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them kids anymore. I still view myself as
Everybody
a kid
does
I'm
that.
like,
It's fine.
I'm so young, but now I'm like, oh wait, I'm actually really old. I don't know. But there's definitely people in our class that have kids, and I've talked to a few of them, and they have family in the area, which is definitely helpful. But they are super people, I swear, because they go home from school and they I gotta go pick up my kids, and we're gonna go have dinner with our family at the dinner table, and I'm sitting here I'm gonna go study as I eat, but they still get it done and are awesome students too. So it's definitely possible.
Yeah, and there are, like you said, there are plenty of med school parents. So I think despite your unique situation, there's some opportunities for peer support.
Definitely.
No matter where you go.
Yeah, and off of what Belle said, I've heard from some of our classmates too that they go home and 5 to 7 is with the kids, we're doing dinner, bath time, reading to go to bed, all the things. And then once the kids go to bed, that's their study time. And honestly, I think you can even relate it into our conversation about hobbies. You have something like that in your schedule, more motivated to get your stuff done during the other time. And that's kind of what I've heard from them in those types of situations. And it probably honestly could help them focus better and stay more on pace and motivated because they have, here's their big priority. They're going to spend time doing this and then they're going to go ahead and do school after. And I think that's awesome too.
I think during the pre-application phase, one thing that you might want to do is reach out to admissions to folks about your issue and get them to connect you with other med school parents.
Yeah. I think one of the things to realize is that maybe this seems obvious, but the big hurdle is getting into medical school.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you get in, everybody's here to support you and get you through. as far as like class curriculum goes. And I think that's important to realize. It's a little bit different than undergrad, where your professor might have 500 students, and so there's not really like any tailoring to what an individual needs. Whereas in medical school, there's an opportunity to get hands-on or talk to a professor one-on-one, get hands-on tutoring, and I think that's a big difference.
Yeah, and here a lot of times I feel like our curriculum managers and the people who are in charge of actually setting up the delivery of the curriculum, your course directors and all that kind of stuff, they can help you figure out how to navigate this situation. Our medical student counseling service, our learning specialists, all of these are sort of resources for any student, but I think maybe with parenting it might be, and especially maybe in your situation where you might be the only parent who's available at any given time. It's probably a good idea to sort of start reaching out to those people early and say, this is my situation. I'm really going to need your help.
Yeah, I feel like especially here at Carver, everybody is so supportive, and like I feel like most of orientation week was them like telling us, here's these support services and we want you to use them. And so I would hope that it's the same at every medical school. Obviously
take them at their word. They I feel like I think, as you alluded to, Ben, once you get in, it's on you to sort of do your best work and all that kind of stuff, but we're also not inclined to just let you sink, especially if you reach out and are sort of proactive in saying like, I need assistance, I need this, I need that. So you're gonna have to advocate for yourself, maybe more so than other students.
Yeah.
But at the same time, once you do that, I think you can find people who will help you.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think it was Second Look Day that we had a dermatology resident come and talk to us. He brought up that he almost failed his first anatomy practical. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Pizzamenti, who teaches anatomy, reached out to him personally and set up a meeting and said, let's get some study techniques done and some study strategies in and to make your performance better. And I think that says a lot to, we're here to help you get through. Well,
I always say that, part of it is like, if we admit you, we're sort of making a promise that you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our whole, that's admission's whole job, is to pick people who, out of this huge pile of applications who they think can do it. So once you're in, I feel like it's on us to be like, okay, how are we going to make sure that you're doing what you need to do and that we also are doing what we need to do to make sure that you're successful. I would advise you also, don't sleep on the fact that med school usually has two distinct phases, preclinical and clinical, and they have very different expectations of your time. Not necessarily more time in, say, clinical than preclinical or anything like that, but the way things are distributed, the way that time is distributed is very different. So you're not going to be able to come up with one system and then just leave it at that. You're going to sort of have to be constantly, and every semester is different too. So,
yeah, one thing that I'm thinking about is I can't speak to a lot of the challenges that they may have to face.
Yeah,
like having kids. I don't have kids, so that's not something that like has that time commitment for me. And so
I recommend it. It's fun if you don't mind occasionally sitting in your hallway with your spouse on the floor while they're potty training and going, the hell is going on? How did this happen?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to. I think there's some other barriers, like primarily finding a girlfriend. So, but like, to speak to the question of like, should I go to medical school? Like, should I become a doctor? I've worked as a surgical assistant. Is that right? For 10
surgical
years?
Assist for like 11 years, I think.
Yeah,
long time.
My thought is I've seen a lot of family members. Not a lot, but some of my family members who are in medicine, like I've seen the challenges they go through like day to day throughout their whole life and career. And I don't know if you necessarily get less busy after medical school, if that makes sense. And so like you have residency and then you have actual like workforce position. And we were listening to some of the panels that they give for like different specialties. And I remember one of the physicians being like, I still work like 60 hours a week. Like I wake up at 6, like attend meetings, go to clinic, go to like the OR. Like I do all these things. And so that point being, it's like, I can't tell you how to overcome these challenges, but I think there are a lot of people, a lot of physicians that have like similar challenges, you know, throughout their career, like having kids, having a spouse, they might put time constraints, but they still make it happen. You know, like I don't have to make that happen, so I can't tell you how to solve that part, but I will say like it's going to be a lifelong thing, you know, working through having to juggle these time commitments. And so I think that it's just like the question, should I go? Like if you're really passionate and you've seen this and you like that's your dream, like I think you should, just because like the rest of your life is going to be like, how do I balance these different aspects of my life? And so like talking to some residents, they definitely say that residency feels way harder than medical school.
Yeah. I think once you get beyond residency, you can start making decisions about how much time you spend.
This is true.
At you know, being a physician, you can you know, depending on what kind of environment you work in and all that kind of stuff. I think academic medicine is a bit of a different thing than, say, working in a community hospital or working in a private practice, or however, you know, whatever your arrangement is. So there's all kinds of different arrangements. Some of them are more stereotypical than others, and you know, they're the ones that we think about when we think, you know, here at the College of Medicine. When I think about doctor, I think about somebody who works in an academic medical center over in the hospital, spends all of their time over there, and then, you know, 60 hours a week or whatever. Might be different in other arrangements. So
yeah.
One more thing off of what Reed was saying. Belle and I kind of forgot about this. We could have said this during our hobbies, but we coached volleyball.
Yes, I was thinking about that before this.
Yes. We coached volleyball this fall with one of the McCowan faculty advisors. So she needed some assistant coaches. So volleyball, Belle and I were like, okay, sounds great, sign us up. But one of the things she had like said to us is, yeah, you don't get less busy as you continue on through life. And she was just saying like, it's, you know, how you make your time. And like, you know, she literally coached her daughter's volleyball team, and she's a doctor and so successful, and, you know, serves on all of these committees and everything, and was able to do that. So yeah, I think kind of what Reed was saying, like life doesn't get less busy. It's just, you know, you alter how you move with your time and how you prioritize 100%. So you can do whatever you want to do with your time.
So I'm thinking through the timeline for this particular person, for Nicole. She says she's, what does she say? She was, she's graduating. Did she say when she was graduating?
I think she said next year.
Yeah,
next year.
With her prereqs.
So she's got a year before she graduates.
Mm-hmm.
Then I imagine there will be a period of time before she enters medical school, unless she's sort of applying back to back, which could be. And then her husband gets out in 6 years. So let's say between 4 and 5 years from now, is when potentially they could really be like parenting as a unit. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm just trying to.
I'm following.
I'm just thinking through the timeline here.
I think it makes a lot of sense. You know,
so then during residency, potentially,
right.
It'll be easier for them to be in the same place, working together as a team, as a parenting team, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're going to have to do it now anyway. I know some people here who have, you know, are long distance parents, and so, you know, they go back and forth between, you know, like the Iowa and the East Coast even. I mean, it's kind of crazy what people can do when they really need to do it. But I also did I say I also wanted to suggest looking into 3-year programs. There's, I don't know, probably 20 or so in the country right now. That might be something to look into. I think the downside of that is the timing. So as we say, you know, in a 4-year program, you have some chance of going into residency when your spouse is ready to sort of retire, and so can be more available. But it's something to look into. I think they usually expect graduates who will do primary care. I don't know, maybe I'm reading into your message that surgery is your thing, but something to think about.
I'm not in their situation, but I would say do it. You know, if you've thought about this for a long time and you're like, this is what I want to do. Like, I've always
this is your lifelong dream.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to do it.
Mm-hmm. And like, there's a lot of doctors out there that I would say to me are like superheroes, you know, because of all the things they balance in their lives. And I think, you know, whether you start that if you're 25 or 35 or 45, I think you can have a great career. You can still practice. I know doctors who practice for 20 years and then stopped and practice, and then some doctors still practice up until they pass away. And so
Yeah, that's why we have what I call the Professor Emeritus burial mounds out in the courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
I just want to say, Nicole, you can do this. I think
I think she sounds like a badass.
100%. That's exactly what I think. And I think at the end of the day, like, you want to be fulfilled in your career. And this really sounds like something that would truly like fulfill her. So I think she can do this. She can, distribute her time how she needs to be and still be a great mom and be a great doctor one day. So you got this, Nicole.
I'll say real quickly. Have you seen, there's a gentleman at the dental school who's I think a second year.
Yes.
I would say if you're like interested,
What?
there's a University of Iowa dentistry. There's a gentleman who has, I think it's like Dr. Dentist or Dad Dentist or
Dentist or something
Dad
like
Dentist.
that.
Yeah.
And I think he's
And
an
TikTok.
old gentleman. He has kids, and I think he decided like later in his career that he wanted to go back to dental school. I don't know how old he
I
is.
think his kids are like 10 or 12.
Okay, so, but he like has documented his whole process, like makes videos, and I think that'd be a good resource to look at. Be like,
Okay.
Somebody else is doing it too. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, short coats. If, like Nicole, you have a question for us, or you want to talk to us about today's show, something you want to hear about someday, go to theshortcoat.com/tell us and send us a message. Otherwise, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to Anna Royer for putting together the show.
Yes.
Thanks, Anna. Until next time, I'm Dave Etler saying, don't let the bastards get you down. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.